started it, right?
I heard the beat.
Okay.
You can check. No, it's probably good.
Oh my god.
Sorry I stressed you out.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too.
You're a real great sport.
Thanks.
I'm difficult.
This feels kind of official.
And I like it a lot.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of podcasts I watch have this like in the middle like that.
So, let me talk to you, bud.
Hi guys, I'm Blake.
And I'm PJ.
And this is the Church Podcast, episode 23. I know, that's a lot. And
23?
Yeah.
That's the number of greatness.
Well, it's a number of something. But this week, it's the number of our cultural value. Oh gosh, I don't even remember what number we're on. 6? 5 or 6?
So we should talk about how we messed up.
Oh, sure, okay. But I was going to introduce the episode first.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about we are mothers and fathers of multitudes. So there was technically no like official order to the cultural values,
Because
but
they're all so valuable.
they're all number one. So, but we had this list that we had written out, I guess, as a church, and one of our friends found that for us and sent it to us. So we were wanting to do it in that order, but we were super excited to go over.
Somehow we missed one.
Yeah.
And it's a doozy.
It is. So we're gonna backtrack a little bit next week.
Yeah.
And go on that one. That one is be authentic. Is the one that we skip, which is funny because that one was like one of the worst ones as far as reality of living it out. So anyway, so we'll talk about that next week. But this week we're talking about we are mothers and fathers of multitudes. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to talk about why that, like, kind of like what that means, I guess, because it I mean, especially if you're not a Christian, it sounds really odd.
Yes.
Like, what the heck? Okay, so you're gonna have like 1,000 children. That, I mean, that's my first impression, at least. Or like you're gonna be like those like Mormon people that have that show, like 23 kids and counting. But then they keep adding the number every season because they have like more kids.
I don't watch TV.
Oh. Anyway, so.
Except for The Bachelorette when you make me.
Right, he doesn't request to watch it at
I
all.
don't like that
or
show.
watch any of the recaps with me.
Mm-mm.
I have to watch it all by myself. Okay, so. Just wrote down a few points. So I guess you talk first because you brought up the Sarah story.
Yeah, well, we were talking about, okay, so like mothers and fathers of multitudes is a concept from the Bible, like many of the cultural values we had held. And basically, I think, you know, it was derived from, it's a very churchy topic to kind of you're grandfathered into the promises of God that were delivered to Abraham and Sarah. They're like the ultimate
Christians,
father and mother of Christians.
Well, I guess not Christians because Christ wasn't around yet, but the first.
No, well, I think he come from their bloodline? That was the whole point.
Oh yeah.
He wanted to he was like, God promised Abraham, you know, because he was sterile, and so he's gonna promise him that he's gonna, you know, he's gonna have kids in his lifetime. It's a big test to him because he's 100 years old at one point. And finally,
she gone through menopause already.
I hit the mic.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, so he's sterile. His wife, you know, they can't have kids, and then but God changes their names from Abram and Sarai to Sarah and Abraham and Sarah. Sorry, the men must come first in Christianity.
Right.
So Abraham and Sarah. Abraham means father of multitudes, and Sarah means mother of multitudes, I think. Something like that. So
that's where the whole concept derived from.
Yes. So I think somewhere in the New Testament, the Apostle Paul, is talking about how, your descendants through the promise of Abraham and Sarah, and so the promise is for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
That may or may not be true. Through your spiritually genetic descendants from Abraham and Sarah, you are also heirs to that promise, which is that you will be a mother and father of multitudes. It's interesting they said mothers and fathers.
Instead of fathers and mothers?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I haven't actually looked in the Bible to see what it actually says about that specifically, which is funny. But being that our church was predominantly led by the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mothers and fathers of multitudes. That's the concept. It's your inheritance through the promise of Abraham and Sarah. You are all mothers and fathers of multitudes. He's promising Abraham that he's going to have a child, a son specifically, because he's got to carry on his name, and all this. So anyway, at our church, it seemed right to make it a cultural value that you're mothers and fathers of multitudes, because that's super good.
Well, also Paul talks about, like, when he converted someone into Christianity, he says that they are his spiritual son in the faith. Mm-hmm. And so anyone that he, like, preached the gospel to who, like, accepted Jesus was then his spiritual son. And so I think that goes hand in hand with the Abraham and Sarah story. Mm-hmm. And the executive pastor was, like, obsessed with preaching the gospel. Mm-hmm. Like, in, I think, an almost unhealthy way. And so I feel like...
How could it be unhealthy to preach the gospel?
If you were there, you know what I mean. And if you weren't, then that's a longer discussion.
You're gonna love Jesus, bitch.
Yes, exactly. That's what it was like, and it's so frustrating. But we'll do anything short of sin to see people saved as another episode. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that then.
But see, you know, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. So what is sin? Really? What?
Well, I feel like I'm at the presidential debate again. Okay. Anyway, so I feel like she was really, like, obsessed with that, and with, like, just that concept of, oh, if I save you, then now I'm your mom. And
which is very, very important in a cult, because a mom has authority over her children.
Right.
Let's just face facts. Like, I'm your mom. How dare you not agree with me and leave me?
Or do what I say.
Which I don't. That could be. I'm sorry. I'm distracting from the point.
No, that's okay. I feel like that's a good point, because I mean, we'd like tell Arrow no, and she isn't supposed to do it, whatever she's doing, you know, and she's supposed to listen to us. And if she doesn't,
that's so interesting.
Well, if she doesn't, usually we're telling her because we, you know, want her to have manners, or don't want her to get hurt, or something along those lines. And so for them, it was the same thing. Like, if they said something, it was as if we were a child again, and they were our literal parents, and we had to do what they said. Otherwise, we would get in trouble. Yeah. Which is, I mean...
like what children do.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so interesting, though. I just made myself think of something. It's like... They were always, it was like this let's call it what it is. It's a mind fuck. It's like, I'm supposed to mature in the Lord. How dare you drink milk like a baby? You're supposed to be eating steaks.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, it's like, how dare you challenge me?
That is so true.
But it's like they were like, you know, we're your mother and your father in the faith, and you need to honor us. And it's like, but you're wrong. You do dumb shit, and I don't like it. It hurts people. I'm trying to tell you. How dare you question me? That's what it was like. So you can't really, in a cult church like that, you can't really mature. Because they like you being childlike. They want you to only listen to what you're told.
Well, the people who really, really succeeded there were very childlike.
Yeah,
In lots of
that
ways.
thing you sent me about that book. Maybe we shouldn't mention that book. Yeah, maybe we should.
I don't remember what I sent you.
I'm just talking about here. I'll look it up.
Okay. Oh, it's such a big book.
Uneducated adults are far more easily controlled by mass propaganda than those who think critically for themselves. So, not to get all political, but the reason you sent me that was because that's how church was.
Yeah, I feel like that's why because as soon as I read that, I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, that's probably one of the reasons why they planted themselves in Chico, which is a college town, and then would recruit, like, young college kids before they really got to the, you know, age or stage in their life where they were trying to think for themselves. You know, they were, like, leaving their house, going to college, but then when they got to the church and got, like, recruited, you know, they were like, oh, well, this is how I think for myself. You know, so they were searching on how to think for themselves, and that church just sucked people in before they really got to experience the rest of their life and actually think critically for themselves.
Right.
And a lot of those people didn't even, like, stay in school. They didn't graduate, which, I mean, you don't have to go to college to be successful, but that was the path that they wanted to be on, and then they got manipulated into doing otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense, and I don't even think they, as psychopaths, even realize what they were doing. But just you know, in their predatory ways, uneducated adults are far more easily controlled than those who think critically for themselves. And think about who fit in there. People who were young. They're stepping into this phase of life where I actually can do whatever I want. This is what I think is right, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, they were very good at. I mean, they didn't even have to try to sift through, you know, people. It's like people that were uneducated, immature, like young, just got totally bought in, because it's like, oh, thank you, person who seems really loving, for like inviting me into your crowd, like, and I get to have, like, friends that, like, ride or die friends that are gonna have my back no matter what. Like, this all sounds so great. We're fathers and mothers of multitudes. Like, we're audaciously generous and humble and all these great things. Oh, I love it here.
Well, and you saw the people that were educated.
People that were educated could see through the bullshit. It's like, oh wait, you said this, but now you do that shit. Bye.
Anyway, that is very interesting. Thank you for bringing that up. The other highlight I want to share another time. I think it fits with a different episode better.
Okay.
Such a good book. Okay, so I feel like some of the ways that they would try to infuse this into the culture was the executive senior pastor was really, like, obsessed, I feel like, with people calling her mom. Like, if you wanted to be close to her, which was, like, such a privilege.
The Bible says that Sarah was a mother of multitudes, so you need to call me mommy if you're really committed.
Yeah, some people actually called her mama. And it was like,
I'm your mama.
It was weird. And also people with, like, mother issues. That was a big thing, too. But...
Well, who doesn't have a mother issue of some kind?
They, I guess, because the senior pastor would do it, too, would really want you to listen to them and what they think above anyone else, just like how you would to your real parents when you're a kid.
Yeah.
And so there's
like a very small kid.
Oh, right. So there was a time I remember, which I look back on now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. It sucks and it's embarrassing.
Like, ugh.
Yeah, but I'm gonna share it anyway because I feel like it's important.
Very important.
So we were at the worship summit, and it was like the last night, and it was last night, right?
Oh, I don't know.
So we were all, going through the 5 dysfunctions of a team, getting a lot of healing as a team and stuff, and every night ended up turning into some spiritual healing session, kind of. And so there was a girl who was at the summit who was my disciple, and so that meant like I was her leader. She came to me for advice, confided in me, and I told her what to do. Basically, what I would do to the executive senior pastor, she did to me, because I was a good little leader, and so I had to have little disciples and little fathers, and sons.
You're reproducing.
Right.
Good for you.
Exactly. So
That's hard.
It would be her granddaughter. So anyway.
Oh, yeah. Granddaughter in the faith.
Exactly. So.
Except until she starts doing really great things, then she's going to be adopted by her and just be her daughter, and you have no more disciples.
Exactly.
Because she needs to win.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Oh, that's so weird. It's like, oh, you do all the hard work and get them to this, like,
You guys aren't leadery enough anymore. I'm going to adopt your spiritual daughters and children.
Right.
And now I'm the best.
Exactly. So, anyway, the senior pastor had her and I, sitting kind of like face to face and doing a thing where...
It was a ministry session.
Yes, a ministry session.
That's what they call it, a ministry session.
Mm-hmm.
This person's struggling, and I think it's because you listen to your mom too much.
Right. So
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No, that's exactly what it was. She was taking advice from her real mom, her natural mom, her birth mother, her real mom.
Raised her ass from nothing, gave her food and water, actually provided the resources to survive as a human being.
And she was a Christian,
but not good enough.
She was a Christian, too. So, she was taking advice from her mom, and it was going kind of against the advice that I was giving. And so that came up somehow. And so then the executive pastor having us sit face to face, and she told the girl that I was leading to basically denounce her mom in now, because I'm her spiritual mother, I'm her mom now.
Which is super crazy because Jesus actually condemned religious leaders for doing that. I think it was Jesus or Paul talking about how Pharisees would travel far and wide to find and convert somebody and tell them, and it was Jesus, I think. They would void God's command to honor your mother and father by saying that, what would have been given to you, mom and dad, is now Corban, which means given unto God or something like that, which sounds really good. I was going to honor you, but now I'm directly God's child, so I can't listen to you anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what she did.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what she did. And so at the time I was like, this is awesome. I felt great about it. She felt great about it. But now looking back, it's like, oh my gosh, if my kid did that to me, I would be so sad. I can imagine how sad her mom was, and pissed and angry and resentful,
I can't. Side note, all the dads who had their daughters fucked up at that place, I can't believe homeboy didn't get his head knocked in a couple times. I would be in there so fucking fast. It's like, thanks for putting yourself on stage where there's nobody in the way and I can just you're just like fucking easy target. Anyway.
So that kind of stuff happened a lot.
Yeah.
And that's how, I don't know, I guess it's not even subliminal messaging, but the manipulation, like, was made a lot easier. If your parents are saying, hey, like, this seems kind of odd, or you should, like, go move away and do this, the pastors would say, heck no, that's not from God. Like, they don't even come to our church, so, like, are you sure they know what they're talking about? I don't think that they do. You should listen to us and our leaders.
Jeez. Talk about blowing smoke up someone's ass. It's like, hey, you're only 20 years old and your parents have been Christians their whole life, longer than I've been alive, and they're telling you that you shouldn't be here, but I think you know better than that. Mm-hmm. I see something in you. I think it might, I don't know if you should listen to them because you probably know more about the Bible than they do. I see you. Man, you're so faithful with your word time every day. It's like,
exactly.
I can hear it.
I can hear
I heard that shit so many times.
Yes.
I heard that shit so many times. It's like, that's how they did it.
Yeah.
It's like, you're just like such a great leader. Look at
you can lead them.
You're leading a department in the fastest growing church in Northern California. The most unchurched region of the world. You don't have to listen to your mom and dad.
They should be
You're
listening
the
to
mom.
you.
You're the dad. I just hit the mic again. Oh my gosh. No, but it's like, that's how they did it. It's like, you're a mother and father of multitudes. You're not, you don't have to submit to your mom and dad and respect them.
Which is exactly...
Fuck that shit, even though God said it.
It's exactly the opposite of what the Bible says to do.
Yeah, so mothers and fathers of multitudes. It was just one more way to pack on some more, onto people's backs. It's like, we don't just want you to serve. We don't just want you to attend every week. We don't just want you to be serving faithfully in some department, 1 to 3 services per week, and probably rehearsals throughout the week. No, you need to be also a mother and father of multitudes, because that's what we value here. So if you're here and you don't have a disciple, someone that you're mothering or fathering, something's wrong with you. Mm-hmm. And that was such a psychological trip. It was like, it's like, I can't even tell you. So it's like, I feel like I was really messed up from being there because I'm just too authentic. Funny that we skipped that on be authentic. I'm too fucking authentic. And I can't fool myself into thinking, like, okay, who in the world wants to be my spiritual son? Like, just, think about that. So in my head, it's like, wow, I must really suck because I can't wrap my mind around how to make someone my spiritual son. I'm not going to manipulate them. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to guilt them like these people are. So it's like, I just pretty much walked around that place without spiritual sons for 11 years. And like, no wonder I was a black sheep. It's like, PJ, who are you fathering? You want to be able to like date people? Oh my gosh.
Oh, so bass backwards.
No,
Maybe it shouldn't be closer to you.
Yeah. I'm telling you, in the course of over a decade, I tried to date 3 people, maybe 4, including you. And it's like, PJ, I don't think you're ready. Who are you fathering? Who are you fathering in the faith? It's like, so I'm not capable of being in a relationship with a female that's godly, a godly relationship, unless I'm fathering whatever that means, somebody in the faith.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what it was. There was a lot of times that I met with people, gave them my perspective on their issues. When they were going through something, I was there for them. I'm not going to go on Sunday night and say, hey, I met with so-and-so and I told him this and he really liked it and I think it's my spiritual son. Yeah, PJ's finally got it. No,
Yeah.
it's like, that's disgusting to me.
Yeah.
Even if I had a son, according to their, weird, cultish,
Interpretation.
false biblical interpretation of whatever that is. It's like, I wouldn't even want to say that because I'm too fucking authentic to sit there and brag about it. But Pastor so-and-so and Pastor so-and-so? No, heck no, never. Throw it up on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We better
Saved another one.
We gotta make sure this is in the announcements this week.
Mm-hmm.
I did this.
That is true. It literally happened.
Yeah. I mean, as is with most of the cultural values there,
Yeah.
they're best when done behind the scenes and nobody knows that you're actually following the cultural values.
Mm-hmm.
But you ain't gonna get any credit for that.
Right.
You definitely aren't gonna be a winner.
So.
Or a leader.
Yes.
Or submissive. Or anything that we
of those
like
things.
about you.
So as you were talking, I just took a little note because I didn't want to interrupt your train of thought.
Thanks.
But I got reminded of something. So a way that they would say, we are mothers and fathers of multitudes is if you're leading a small group. Right? And so it's like, if you're not leading a small group, you're not living out this cultural value, and you're like, why are you on my leadership team if you don't have your own small group that you're leading?
Mm-hmm.
But then it didn't stop there. If someone in your small group was doing something bad, it was automatically your fault. And why the heck are they messing up? Like, someone in my small group was having sex with their boyfriend. And they were in a monogamous relationship, and they were dating for 2-3 years at this point, and they're attracted to each other, and they don't want to get married yet, and they're having sex, and that's like a very normal thing to deal with, right? And so then the senior pastor was asking me, well, why are they having sex? Like, how come you can't get them to stop? And I'm like, this is not my responsibility to get people to stop having sex. Like, I talk to them about it. I don't even exactly know 100% what the Bible says about, like, not having sex before marriage or whatever. I have to look into that more. But at the time, I was, like, I believe that very much. You weren't supposed to do that. But at the same time, like, if someone comes to you with something that they're struggling with and they didn't want to be doing it and they felt like they were being lustful and all of that, and if they're confiding in me, I'm not going to say, well, you're terrible and you shouldn't be doing that. Like, what the heck you're doing? They already know that. They just want it to be out in the open, and maybe get help with some tips on how to, maybe not stay over at each other's house till like 3 a.m. or something while you're drinking. Like, that probably doesn't help the situation, but the point is, like, no matter what I would have said, if they don't want to stop doing it, they're not going to stop doing it until they don't want to do it. Then they're just going to keep doing it. And so there was instances like that, or like somebody in my small group wasn't serving, and she was like, how come they're not serving like every Sunday? Like, they are doing this, like,
I'm sorry.
They
so
have
many thoughts.
They have other obligations, so they come to a service every Sunday, but then they were in charge of this like pageant thing in their county, and she was like super stoked about it, was like really excited to like be helping in these pageants because she like grew up doing them, and so she loved doing it, and it was a volunteer thing, and it was like, well, how come she's not volunteering with us on Sunday? And it's like, because she's doing something else that she likes. If you would like not get on her case about it, maybe she would tell other people to come to our church because it's awesome, and so it's like things like that. It's like, if you want to be a mother and father, those people can't be considered my spiritual children because I'm not reprimanding them enough, or I'm letting them do these bad things or whatever. And it's like, no, they're just people like figuring out if they want to do it, they can do whatever they want to do. And if they want to confide in me about it, great. And if not, like, that's, it's up to them. And it's like that whole control thing. And I feel like they were so good at controlling the people who are around them, and they wanted us to do the exact same thing. And I mean, I just wasn't ever really comfortable doing that. And then I feel like that's where I got like a little bit lower on the totem pole, because I wouldn't say to them exactly what she told me to say.
It's so funny. I wish I could go back. They say like no regret. No, don't live with regrets. Like no regrets.
Everyone has regrets.
I mean, everyone has regrets. There's things that I regret, and when like some people say like, if you could go back in time, what would you change? It's like, I do feel like, you learn from your mistakes, and you really shouldn't live with regret. But one thing I do regret is not recording all these bullshit situations where it's like, oh shoot, she's about to pop off again.
I know. Record. I know.
Dude, I wish I had this stuff on tape. It's just like so many opportunities. But there's no way we would have done that, because that would not be honoring.
Oh, so not honoring.
You said unhonoring?
I said so not honoring. Is unhonoring a word?
No.
Oh, dishonor.
I mean, you can make whatever words you want.
I do what I want.
Were you going to say something else?
Oh, just how... I mean, I feel like they knew that no one would record because of how... Mosquito? No, it's right there. It's right there. Get it. What is it?
Some little bitch.
I feel like they were not afraid to do that because they knew no one was going to pull out their phone and, like, record them, because they...
weren't afraid... No. I'm sorry. I cut you off. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't feel like they were thinking, oh, no one's going to record this, so I'm going to do this. But I don't think they were... Like, there's people who think about, someone might,
But psychotic, narcissistic, what's the other word?
Crazy bitch?
Psychopath. No, psychopathic. Yeah, I think I said that. Psychotic. Anyway, people like that, they don't care if somebody records them, because they're the best of all time. They had no problem still have no problem going on public forums. I'm just going to stick to my guns. Mm-hmm. These people left me. Here's what I did wrong. I tried to hire these kids. That's the reason my church failed. I hired people that were too young.
That's another thing that you just reminded me of on this topic. How they would say, I think we kind of talked about it in another episode, but how they would say they can't build off of someone else's foundation. Uh-huh. And so people who would come in that were already Christians and didn't submit to their leadership, they would just say, well, can't build off of their foundation. They're old wineskin.
Old wineskin.
Old wineskin.
There's a good old Bible verse for everything you need.
Exactly. So I need, new Christians, because that's a foundation I can build off of.
Yeah, well, we're not trying to reach people that know Jesus already. Besides, they're annoying anyway. We're trying to reach the ignorant.
Exactly.
People that have never read the Bible and can't call me out on my shit.
Yeah. Because the ones who do always end up leaving anyway. Because they know better.
Dude. Mothers and fathers of multitudes. Yep. That was such a big one, because it's just like, you either just wore yourself out trying to become and prove that you're a mother or a father. Mm-hmm. And one's not enough. Two's not enough. That's nothing.
See how many disciples I got? They're in this whole room.
I preach the
All
gospel
y'all.
every day. Never mind, none of them come here. I preach the gospel every day. Mm-hmm. I'm a mother of multitudes, and who are you, bitch? I'm just ashamed with you people. Mm-hmm. Like you either killed yourself trying to prove that you were a mother and a father. You're worthy of this promise from God himself. Or you felt like shit.
Yep.
Because it's like, well, damn. I'm going to school. I'm working full time. I have kids. I serve all day on Sunday. When can I possibly have a small group and mother and father somebody?
You're not calling someone on your lunch break?
Yeah. Call them while you're driving to school, you lazy ass. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
While I'm watching Orange is the New Black, I'm discipling people while I'm texting. Sorry for all the typos. That's why there were so many typos. I don't even know why we picked that as a cultural value, honestly. Why? Mothers and fathers of... Oh, here's why. Because we don't want to be just a religious leader. We want to be a parent. We want to be there for you through thick and thin. We do life together. We're not just pastors. We're mothers and fathers.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I figure how that thought went down.
Yeah.
It's like...
And we hold the promise of Abraham and Sarah. Pray in tongues. You, okay, yes, we're gonna pick up that mantle. We've got it. It's on our back. I picked up the mantle from so-and-so, picked it up from so-and-so, picked it up from this guy over here. Now it's on us, and it's our job to save this city.
I heard Joel Osteen say this, and I receive it. And now it's my baton to pass. Mm-hmm. I'm going to pass this baton to you.
You can receive any word that's said to you, but you have to take it and receive it. And pass it on.
I don't want to lose my thought. I had a thought too.
Oh, sorry.
The whole thing about, you meeting with the girl and denouncing her mom and stuff. Mm-hmm. That was happening. Excuse me. That was happening way before it was on paper. Before it was written on the wall.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Which is why it was our culture. Because we're deciding what we were already.
When I first started going there. Okay, so we left in 2018. I started going there in 2006 or 7. And 7, I think it was. Anyway, if you had some kind of question about the things that were happening there, because there was many questions raised. Mm-hmm. This is very strange. I've never heard this before. Like, Mom, what do you think about this? Dad, hey, we were raised in you took us to church our whole life. What do you think about this? Like, what would they would always the things they said at the end were the same as they said in the beginning. It was just a cultural value. Mm-hmm. The last couple of years. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, it was the same thing. It was like, yeah, they're Christian, but they said this. Maybe they're not saved. We really need to win your mom. We really need to win your dad. I'm telling you, they said that shit from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And it was like, are they right? It's just like they planted that seed of doubt because they had to be the best. Mm-hmm. That's what all these cultural values come down to. What's the best possible person? Well, that's us. Mm-hmm. And how do we describe that? Because I want the whole world to know I'm the best.
Right.
That's all it is. Mm-hmm. Fucking had nothing to do with helping people avoid hell. Got to be the fucking winner. Got to be right. Doesn't matter if you cheat. As long as it's not sinful. Whatever the fuck that means. Here's some good cultural values. We're nice. we don't sin. You don't need to pay us for us to do what we apparently love.
We do it because we like it.
I would love to see a church that just lets someone sit there for 20 years and doesn't get mad at them for not doing something. Honestly, like, if you're out there and you're preaching the gospel and you're, helping people, ministering, giving them food, whatever, it's none of your damn business what they do unless they say, hey, what do you think about this in my life? Without you saying first, you should be asking me what I think about your life. Maybe that's a little too deep. It's like, it's like if I didn't ask you, basically, hey, I'm here because I like what you say. It makes me think. I'm an introspective person, and this church helps me kind of ponder some things, some different ideas. Cool. Yeah, you posed a great thought. That's awesome. Unless someone asks you what you think about their life, what you think about what they do, without you saying that they should ask them what they think about what you do, it's none of your fucking business. Keep your mouth shut.
And even then, if they do...
It's a bug. Sorry.
Thank you. Even if they do ask you what you think, and you give them your opinion and they do something else, they can do whatever they want. They're a free person.
Yeah.
You're not responsible.
They said they want to be my disciple. Here, let me revamp your soul.
Right.
I'll tell you everything you need to do. And don't you question me. Because you asked me for help. Now what? Now I'm confused. You drank my beer. You hung out at my house.
You ate my fucking drumsticks.
You ate my drumsticks. Why did I waste my time with you, you peasant?
Pretty much. And would anyone actually treat their real children that way? No.
I think about that a lot, actually. Especially now having a kid. If I don't do something for her that I feel like a fatherly person should do, speaking of fathers and mothers, I'd feel really bad. My whole life is consumed with now, what does she need? And if I mess up, if I'm not even patient with her, it's like, man, I am garbage. I feel guilty. It's hard to even shake that feeling. So it's interesting, I don't know. It's interesting that such a predominant personality there didn't have a single kid. You'd think you would maybe even perhaps I don't know.
Have a kid too is like, then let me know.
Not have a kid because she couldn't have a kid. Well, all she had was a little crusty old, snipped off ball's dick. No, but it's like we are mothers and fathers of multitudes. Here, gather around, fathers and mothers of actual people. Let me ask you what you think of motherhood and fatherhood. Nope, they would never do that. They always knew better.
Right.
So this has been episode 23 of the Church Podcast, and we hope that you enjoyed our rantings and displaying our pain for you. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe because it really helps us. And leave a comment. Let's have discussions about this. I'm sure everybody who was there and at other churches has had a different experience or a different perspective, and it's so interesting to talk about it. So please leave a comment, and I think that's it.
That's it.